Here, we're just coming around the corner over here. Let's see what other presentations we have. Doesn't look like everyone has arrived yet. A.A. Jackson, PhD. I'm not really sure who this is. It looks like we're talking about ramjets over here. Rocket to mass ratio problems. Yeah, this is just a little bit out there. You know, it's changing from rockets, but not really alternative propulsion in the truest sense. Here we have an Interstellar University concept. Is this your presentation? Hey, Steve, do you want to do a
alternative propulsion engineering conference, and that's going on now?
You're live on it right now.
Oh,
why don't you just tell us what this is about?
Sure. Are you part of the conference?
Yes, yeah, we're part of the conference.
Awesome. Well, I'm here representing Kansas as well as my own astronautical, astrophysical initiatives and projects. But the idea of an Interstellar University arose from observing the rise of the interstellar community pretty much this century and its mark and trend. And here it shows you just in the last, say, 10 or 20 years, the various organizations, including this one here, which started as TVIW and is now the Interstellar Research Group. Well, what was the significance of this, of the rise of the interstellar community? And all these institutes already exist, and what a next step up might be something even larger, grander, like a university. So the idea arose from the reality of this 21st century phenomenon, pretty far out, and that coupled with my 50-year interest in Kansas, first, as I mentioned, from my background in American history, noting that it's right in the middle, which is an attribute in itself. And then when I found that the state motto was ad Astra Per Aspera on the seal, which was almost 50 years ago, Kansas became my adopted state. I live and work in Hawaii and California, originally from the East Coast, so that was another person there. So Kansas was in the middle, someplace to stop rather than fly over back and forth. But it's really very interesting, again, from both an American history point of view and an interstellar point of view.
So what would we be learning at the Interstellar University?
Well, good question. Through this initiative the last couple of years,
Hold the mic at you.
sure, in the state, we've met a number of, in fact, because of this initiative a few years ago, we formed a couple of groups based on the state motto of Ad Astra Kansas newsletter, holding a Kansas Day, a Kansas Foundation, Ad Astra Kansas Foundation. The next step was to explore interstellar possibilities, which is really a direct equivalent of Ad Astra. Right? And we engaged with this community, participated in an earlier one of these TVIW Interstellar Symposiums, and invited TVIW to hold their
TVIW is what?
TVIW.
That's the precursor for the Interstellar Research Group, right? Where we're at right now.
Exactly. And we invited TVIW to join to hold their 6th Interstellar Symposium in the Ad Astra state of Kansas. And that was done 2 years ago, November 2019, in Wichita. And out of that, a Wichita professor proposed just a few months ago Interstellar 101,
Look at that.
Brenda, you might catch this.
Celestial mechanics, communication habitats, radiation, microgravity. Where's anti-gravity on there?
This is just a provisional tentative
Yeah.
proposal, and fair enough.
I'm loving it. Yeah.
Because you probably heard some of the presentations on anti-gravity. So where you have gravity, of course, you'll have anti-gravity.
I mean, that's probably how we're going to get there, to the stars. So
Well,
people need to learn about it. Different types of propulsion. We got to move past the rocket age and into the true space age.
exactly into the next phase of it, and I think there was a question asked of the first speaker. Do you remember Mark Millis this morning?
Yes,
somebody asked him. Did you ask him?
I was the one who asked that question.
Good question.
Have you developed any actual technology? What was his answer? Hardware.
Hardware. And the answer was like, what? They're working on it?
No, the answer was no.
No. I thought the question that you were referring to was the Mark Millis was when humans will achieve interstellar travel. Do you remember that? That was
probably one of the earlier questions. Yeah.
Yeah. And you said decades, maybe 50, 100, maybe 200 years.
Oh, I think it happened 50 years ago.
Well,
That's another question.
That's a fair consideration, I suppose, in some ways. Jim Benford looking for artifacts. I guess that's a new phase of SETI is looking for techno-signatures for artifacts.
What about the pyramids? Maybe the pyramids are artifacts.
Well,
we know the ancient Egyptians painted them, but that's all we know.
That's something that I haven't dug into as deep as perhaps I would like or am interested in to we've heard the references repeatedly that the placement of the pyramids are reflecting the stars in the Orion belt.
Yeah, we've seen that actually in a couple pyramid schemes. But let's keep it back to what you have going on over here.
Yeah.
Is any university actually open to this idea, to the curriculum?
I was mentioning Mark, Wichita State University, where there was supposed to be a professor here at NIAC,
Unfortunately, NIAC didn't come.
Well, it is unfortunate, these times in government, public institutions. So this is a proposal that has already attracted the support of 4 or 5 professors at this one university, Wichita State University, which was a co-host, like Arizona State, co-host of today's event. Wichita State University co-hosted the Interstellar Symposium in 2019. And the idea of this proposed Interstellar 101 is that this semester, 1 week presentations through a semester would occur rotationally amongst the universities of the state universities. So that will just the exposure, access to interstellar information. But I think it's not just a Kansas matter, it's a national and global matter. And nationally, this is really an innovation year, maybe one of the first persons that I have to practice this explanation on. Besides that relatively providential state motto, which didn't come in 1861 from any precocious Trekkie or anything. It was, again, I have a background in American history, and that was the day that Kansas joined the Union as the USA.
So maybe they were talking about a star on the flag and not actually stars.
Well, they were talking about the stars on the flag, and they became the 34th star on the American constellation that day. But it was right at the beginning of the Civil War. And Kansas had been pulled, north and south, free and slave, and they joined right after the hostilities began as a free state, and hence the state motto for the stars in the flag through difficulties. But of course, what do the stars in the flag represent? What we're after anyhow.
Right.
It's pretty amazing that USA, that we've got 50-star flag. So that's the second asset I think that's unique to Kansas besides this motto, because it means that you know what they say, the university system here in Arizona or in Colorado is much more robust than what my friends in Kansas do that, but it's you know it's more substantive. The Arizona universities regarding interstellar matters, and the same thing for Colorado, much less California or Texas. But because it's in the center, it can be aware and incorporate all the assets in these interstellar rich states into its curriculum or understanding, and the same with the East Coast. It's in the center. It's equidistant, which is a unique advantage that no other state has too. So those are, and then Wichita is, there are more airplanes produced in Wichita than any other city in the world.
Oh, really? I think property is pretty cheap down there too.
Yeah. Well, what about Arizona? I'm not sure about that.
Oh, we're seeing that. You gotta see.
So tell me about your work here.
We're doing APEC, which is the Alternative Propulsion Engineering Conference. We're actually live right now with about 50 people on the Zoom call and several hundred watching on YouTube. And we're checking out IRG for any similarities and anything that we can work with you guys on.
Alternative Propulsion
Engineering Conference, APEC.
And I saw the APEC and I wondered what it was.
Well, this is it right now. You've just been on it. Steve Durst, where can we get your information? How can people reach out to you?
Sure. News at spaceagepub.com will connect your email to us. News at spaceagepub.com. That's our publishing company based in Hawaii and California.
And spacepub.com is your website?
That's our website, and you can link to Ad Astra Kansas Foundation operates a website also. And you can go to the Ad Astra Kansas Foundation website. You can call it up on the internet, and we do have a website there. And there's an alternative engineer there. Is that right? This is an alternative engineer?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're looking at.
Tell me about the design and innovation. It sounds appropriate to this conference.
Yeah. It is. But we're going to get back to you in a little bit. We just want to continue on to the other presenters. Co, can you grab the laptop? Let's move on. Brenda, I'm hearing that the picture is now backwards.
No, it has been backwards. I just started noticing that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
I saw like, oh, mine's.
Well, Mark, you're doing great. This is amazing.
okay.